key players. We don't need to go into the starting lineups of Leipzig or anything because that may change a million times from now until our actual game against them due to injuries, suspensions, or things that Tedesco might tinker with. But key players, why don't you hit us with their key players and who we should look out for?
Yeah. So let's start with Leipzig's players. Again, Leipzig is still the biggest threat. Of course, the main thing to watch out in Leipzig is Christopher Nkunku. All in all, this is a player that, for example, I would have been quite happy if he were a Real Madrid target for signings, because at this point, this guy has evolved a lot in the last 2 years and has become just an all-around threat and an extremely versatile attacker. Nkunku is primarily a left-wing player. He has played and done well on the right side, but really where he exploded last year is playing more towards the left side. Oh, by the way, a lot of the key player matchups here are basically beware of the opponent's left side attacker against Real Madrid's right back. That's kind of the summary of a lot of the key player matchups. Partly because the opposition has pretty talented players. The oppositions, all of them have kind of talented players on the left, but also because Real Madrid's right back is, from an individual perspective, the weakest part of the defense. So those are really going to be the matchups to keep the biggest eye on. And again, so Nkunku is the more dangerous one with Leipzig. And again, we're talking about a very complete attacker who is really good in tight spaces. He's creative. He likes his passing combinations. With Nkunku, the bigger threat is not so much that he's going to run in behind, but that he's going to be the guy driving the kinds of passing combinations that can destabilize Real Madrid's defense. That's really the threat. Then if you want the threat running in behind, that's why you have Mr. Timo Werner in the team. Obviously, Werner has seen better days, but even when he's not but here's the thing, even when Werner is not doing well, even when he's not finishing chances, he's extremely consistent with the off-ball runs, and he's always going to be a threat from the off-ball runs. And you could see that at Chelsea a lot, where even if he didn't get the goal, the off-ball runs put his opponents in trouble the whole time. And even if he doesn't get a goal out of then he can get, say, a cutback into the box, those kinds of things. So, of course, that combination is the more dangerous one, and the things to watch out for. More in the midfield areas, there's always Olmo, of course, is another really good all-rounder who has an eye for a goal, but he's also pretty creative. He also moves pretty well. He likes his passing combinations. The one that I always watch out, maybe I have a personal preference for him, but I always really like Emil Forsberg, because he's like a supremely creative player who's really good with the through balls. So that this entire combination of Nkunku doing passing combinations on the left, Werner running in behind with Forsberg throwing in the through balls, that can get annoying for Real Madrid's defense. So those are the things to watch out for. Interesting. Then the other players to watch out for is more of a tactical, structural thing. They have this really good Croatian center back, Joseph Guardiola, who is basically it's kind of think about it as an analog to, say, Jules Koundé, the kind of center back who really likes to go forward, and that becomes really valuable in Leipzig attacking system. So and that's really where Leipzig can get dangerous in attack, when you have Guardiola, the left wing back in Nkunku, and one of the midfielders like Olmo, combining in that area. That's when the passing combinations can get dangerous. So that's another interesting play. And there are teams around Europe looking to sign this guy because of the interesting contributions that he provides in the attack. And then from the tactical perspective, the other player I like a lot in Leipzig is Kevin Campbell, because he's kind of the midfield engine in the team. It's the kind of player that if you nullified him, Leipzig is in trouble, because he is the midfield engine and is the kind of guy who's really good at moving the ball forward, but also he helps hold up the structure defensively. So those are really the players, just as a summary, the players from Leipzig that catch my eye.
Well, you basically went over their entire squad, and I think that's just a testament to the fact that this is a really good team on paper. It's a really, really good team on paper. You mentioned, you mentioned all the key ones. I think it's interesting looking at Nkunku, just a tremendous player all around. And I don't know necessarily how much he'll be on the left side, but if you just look, he's been on a tear for over a year now. And I mean, last year, you're looking at 20 goals in 34 games. He also was a terrific creator. He had 13 assists as well in the Bundesliga. This year, he already has 2 goals in 3 games. He's an obvious threat. We've already seen some cool link-up stuff that he's done with the French national team over the summer. Be interested to see how he fits into the World Cup and how much he'll actually play. Yeah. But he's definitely making a case now over several players in that were present in the French World Cup team. And he's 24, so he's not as young as, like, I know a lot of people kind of mentioned him as a possible signing for us and pretended like he was a teenager, but he's still relatively young. I don't even think he's in his peak yet. He had a really great breakout season last year. So that's definitely one. The Werner point is interesting because I feel like Werner now is in a place where Benzema was in 2018. Not finishing, not scoring. I mean, he's basically the opposite of Nkunku right now in terms of pure production, but he still hurts you with his movement and his passing. Yes. Like, he's really good at that even when he's not scoring. And that's kind of, I feel like, where Benzema was in 2018, where we tried to tell people and we made compilations about it, but like, hey, look, Benzema's doing all this stuff, like, off the ball. Look at it, look at his movement. And no one wanted to hear it, but we experienced this firsthand when we faced Chelsea last year, like the year before. So he was not scoring, but he was just, the way he moved and the way he passed and the way he helped Chelsea progress the ball was really impressive. So I think that's kind of like where Werner is at now. It's like, obviously not quite Benzema 2018 because Benzema's accomplished so much even before that, but that's kind of where I see Werner right now in terms of how he could hurt us. What's up, Madridistas on YouTube? This is Kiyan Sobhani. Thank you for watching that clip. And just as a reminder, that clip is actually from a much larger podcast where Jose Perez and we went live on Zoom. We're joined by a bunch of patrons, and we broke down every single one of Real Madrid's Champions League opponents in the group stage to a T. And then we follow that up with questions from fans who were on the Zoom call, and we went over a bunch of stuff. So to get access to not only that, but to our entire back catalog that's available on patreon.com/managingmadrid, go to patreon.com/managingmadrid, sign up. You throw up $3 a month. It's less than your Starbucks coffee. You get a ton of value in return. You join a Real Madrid family as a reward, and you will not miss a beat. We put out everything from Champions League post-game shows, live on Zoom, to everything else under the sun. Mailbags, loan trackers, everything. And I think our next big live Zoom call together will be after the Celtic game in Glasgow. So stay tuned for that. If you want access to that and everything else, go to patreon.com/managingmadrid, and we'll see you on the inside. Come join the party. Don't be on the outside looking in, wishing you were part of the fun. Come on the yacht with us and get a ton of value in return. We'll see you there.